Alrighty then. Now, to get serious really fast here.
Oh no, we gotta get
We
serious.
gotta get serious.
Dang.
I'm hearing from so many people right now how discouraged and drained they're feeling.
Right.
And I don't think it's just right now. It's in general, a lot of people don't feel supported. Like they feel like the people around them, whether they're quarantined with them or not, don't really believe in them.
Right. Okay. I've heard that from a lot of people too.
Yeah. So what do you say to people when they're feeling that way?
What do I say to
Yeah.
people? I usually just, like tell them to look for the opportunities in it, and to, at the end of the day, the world will stop ending eventually. I mean, that's one of the things I say a lot, you know.
Okay.
So, I mean, but at the same time, I do feel like during any kind of crisis, it's a lot more powerful to be a beacon. When everybody's the same, it's hard to be a beacon because everybody's slightly glowing. It's just you're another firefly that's glowing, along with everybody else. Maybe you're a little bit brighter than the next person, but or than the next firefly.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, when it's dark and there's no fireflies around and everybody's little firefly tail is out, if you're the one glowing, you stand out. You stand out really, really well.
That's
So
true.
that's kind of the way that I would.
All right. Well, that's what we're going to dive into in today's episode is what do you do when you're feeling that way and other people's opinions don't quite line up with the reality that you want to create for yourself. So we got to do a thumbnail.
Oh, it's thumbnail time?
We got to do a thumbnail.
I don't know what we're doing for thumbnail time today. What are we doing?
You didn't read my notes.
I did. What are we doing? Am I talking to the hand right now?
Yes.
Wow. I got the hand. That's been a
We're going
while.
to use that for our thumbnail. That's me not feeling supported.
Okay. Should do
All
it.
right. No, seriously, though, who's ever felt unsupported by the people around you?
Show of hands. I know.
No?
I mean, I have.
2 hands? I think we can't see their hands, though. I just realized we can ask for a show of hands, but we can't see their
Leave
hands.
us a comment.
Leave us a comment. Tell us if this is something that you've dealt with when it comes to either your ideas for starting a business or a business that you're already building. Because the truth is there's only one way to really effectively deal with the negativity and keep your mindset positive and focused.
What are we doing for thumbnail time?
We just did thumbnail time.
What was it? Was me
Talk
talking
to
to the
my
hand?
hands.
What are these for then?
Those are for a different video.
They're for a different video.
You're just
These,
like
I
all
just to
off
tease the other video. If you see these in another video, you'll find out what these are for in another video. Not in this video.
This is what happens when we're quarantined. We get crafty. No.
All
No,
right.
but seriously.
Let me ask you: does this involve Hitman? What you're about to tell us?
No, Hitman is not an approved way to deal with people who are negative in your life. That's not
Depends
an,
on-
no,
depends on
that's
the
not an
industry
approved way. Oh my. All right. No, but on a serious note, that is the problem with most approaches. Like people will tell you, make a list and cut all the negative people out of your life. Cut everybody who's supportive out of your life. And
Especially right now. I mean, if you think about it, you've got to. What people have to do
true. You can't
is
cut people out of your life right now. You're quarantined
right.
with
You're
them.
quarantined. It's impossible. You got to instead make peace with one concept. Okay, other people's opinions mean not just very little, not just nothing, but less than nothing. They mean things I can't say because Michelle will make a frowny face if I say that.
Don't make me wish for a mute button again. No, but that's a tough thing to come to peace with.
Yeah, right. But you'll always have people who don't believe in you around, and
Yeah.
people who try to discourage you by telling you that you got to be realistic,
Yeah, be
about your goals and your dreams, that kind of nonsense.
Yeah. Well, and if you allow those people's opinions to matter to you, then you really end up proving them right. Like it becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everyone around you, okay, who's successful, they have plenty of people who don't believe in them too.
That's easy
who've
to
told them
forget.
no, who tried to stop them, who've tried to put the kibosh on whatever they're doing, but they didn't let it stop them.
Right. We see those memes all the time. Like there's always those image posts or those videos about all the failures that came before the big successes that we know. Because that's all we see is the success part.
Yeah, so let's talk about a couple of those.
Okay. So one that I think is great and that always comes to mind for me when we talk about the failure to success thing is Fred Astaire. One of his first screen tests.
I don't know this one.
Well, no. Okay. So, but you know who that is, right?
Yeah, I love Fred Astaire.
Okay. His first screen test at MGM Studios. Do you know what the director said to him? I didn't just say, wrote this down. The director wrote this down.
No, I don't know.
And said, he can't act. Oops, let's spill my coffee. He can't act. He can't sing. He's slightly bald, not handsome, can dance a little. I mean, Fred Astaire. Like, if you look up this guy's Wikipedia entry, which I did, and it's got, kind of the summary of his legacy, and it says he's widely considered the most influential dancer in the history of film. And the feedback from somebody who's supposed to know his thing was that he can't dance. He can dance a little.
You know what Fred did with that note, though? You know? You don't know what it is?
Go ahead.
I have to actually answer this?
Yes, you have to answer it, unless you want me to.
No, it's fine. He hung it up in his Beverly Hills mansion to remind himself not to take no for an answer.
Yeah. And that's what's interesting to me is like how often we let people who really shouldn't even get a vote influence us. You know, because I mean, like for Astaire, this was a director. This was someone who, like, legit, their opinion mattered in his industry. It wasn't just his mom or his neighbor or his partner. It was literally somebody who knew what skills they were looking for, and their evaluation of him was, he can dance a little. He's not handsome enough for this. I mean, that would be like crushing feedback, right? But he didn't let that stop him. We give up and back down so easily sometimes.
True. So a couple more. Okay. Michael Jordan. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You probably heard this one, but if you haven't, it's powerful. Okay. Yeah. He literally got cut from his high school basketball team. And everyone knows where he ended up. I mean, it's Michael.
Can you imagine being his high school coach? Like, looking at that now.
No. Yeah.
The guy I cut from the team is like the best known basketball player in the world.
Right. And there's that famous quote from him. I think how this goes. I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. And I lost I forget what he said, like 300 games. Mm-hmm. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. And I have failed over and over. And over and over again, just thinking life in general is how he meant it. And but basically, he goes on to say that's why he succeeds, right?
Yeah, that's a powerful thing to think about, like how many times somebody failed, even when other people's trust was in them. One that is always inspiring to me is the guy that founded Alibaba, Jack Ma. Mm-hmm. He literally, when he took the college entrance exams, he not only failed them 3 times, but the first time he took the exam on the math test, he got 1 point out of 120.
Wow.
1 point out of 120.
That's very impressive.
No. And then it's such an interesting story because even when he graduated college, he shares how he went and applied for a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken after he graduated. 24 people applied when he did. 23 got hired. Ouch. He was the only one in that group that didn't get hired. Ouch. Kentucky Fried Chicken. But then
he got a mule kick like,
Well, he finally got a job teaching English, right? And he flew to the U.S. to visit a friend in, I think it was 95. Mm-hmm. And that was his first introduction to the internet. He saw the World Wide Web. And his thought was, hey, I can add value. I can do something monumental with the internet. He launched Alibaba, and now he's one of the richest men in the world. Yeah. 1 out of 120 points on a math exam.
Yeah, but I think sometimes when we hear those stories, we forget that they're people just like us. Yeah. And they're just like you and me, right? Yeah. They just made different decisions. I mean, basically is what the difference is.
Yeah, well, they refuse to quit. I think that's the thing. Like the Harry Potter, the lady who wrote she was rejected. What was it, like 12 times?
I don't know, but I heard it was a lot.
And one publisher actually told her, if I remember correctly, something like, don't quit your day job.
Why did they say stuff like that?
That's like horrible feedback.
Stephen King's first book, Carrie, the one with the blood on
not,
was rejected,
I
think, like 30 times or something like that before the publisher accepted it. And I read somewhere that Jack London's first story was rejected like 500 or 600 times. I feel like I'm making that number up, but I'm pretty sure it's actually like 5. Somebody look it up for me, make sure it's accurate. But I think it was like 500 or 600 times before it actually got published.
That's crazy. And to not give up when you get rejected that many times. That's both crazy and inspiring.
What about Walt Disney?
Walt Disney was fired from his newspaper job for lack of good ideas. I mean, the guy who created Mickey Mouse and Disney, lack of good ideas?
He doesn't have good ideas.
Oh my gosh. And then a lot of people don't know he started an animation company that went bankrupt. Yeah. His first animation company went bankrupt, and he shares the story that when he was going through that time in his life, he literally ate dog food to survive.
Yeah, and Henry Ford too is another one. His first company started with $150,000, which was a lot back then, of investor money.
Back in the early 1900s.
Yeah, that would have been that's probably like $5 million nowadays. Okay, and it went bankrupt. I think, in under a year. And somehow his investors, get this, okay, they gave him another shot, and they invested in the Henry Ford Company. You've heard of the Ford Company, okay, 1901. And it went bankrupt as well.
Again.
Yeah, exactly.
He went through that twice. I can't imagine going, hey, let me do that again. Investors gave me money. I lost it. Let's do that again. And then losing it again and then continuing on. But he did. He started again a third time. And that's when he invented the Model T and the assembly line and revolutionized transportation and industry. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy.
And we could literally go on and on with the stories.
Yeah.
The Beatles were rejected by nearly every record label.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay. They said guitar groups were on their way out. I mean, whatever, man.
But all of that goes back to, to who we started with, Michael Jordan. There's a quote that not as many people have heard as the miss 9,000 shots one. And that one is, obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it.
Yeah. I love that, by the way. Yeah. Just figured it out. Don't get discouraged if your first business idea doesn't work out for some reason, because honestly, one thing Michelle and I know, because we work with so many really big name successful people, somehow or another we've ended up just doing it over and over. And I think it has something to do with noticing these things about them, because I know how to pick them. I can tell who's gonna, even if they don't win, they're still winning. They're in the process of winning something. You can't win every inning.
As long as somebody doesn't give up, they're eventually going to get there.
Yeah, and there's an attitude. I think it's about more than just not giving up, though. That's the thing. I say that one of the things that's a common entrepreneurial trait, successful entrepreneurs, is determination, right? They'll just keep going. But there's another thing that goes along with it, with how they perceive what the loss means. We were watching The Ultimate Fighter, the first season of The Ultimate Fighter, and one of the guys on there, and he got picked. Was it first? I think he got picked first, didn't he?
Yeah.
By Chuck Liddell, right?
Mm-hmm.
His whole attitude, every time they cut away to him, there's other guys talking trash, and some guys man, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. But he
wasn't whining.
His thing was, this is very hard. I mean, it's the hardest work I've ever done. But I mean, I get to be here training with Chuck Liddell and with all these top athletes who do what I do, and these trainers that train all these winning MMA fighters. It's that attitude, that really is, to me, is the secret, along with it's what keeps you going, but it's also how you keep going that I think actually matters. Yeah. And so if someone tells you that you can't make money in today's economy, right?
Or if somebody says you're not going to be able to do it, you have to have a certain education. That's when I hear from a lot of people, you need an education, you need this expertise, you need this degree to succeed.
Right.
But it's all nonsense.
Right, because the only person who can stop you from reaching any dream that you have for yourself and your family is YOU. Yep.
So don't you dare let that happen.
And hey, we want to support you. Yes. Okay, so if you want someone who will believe in your dreams, we're really good at it. That's one of the reasons why we people rework with us and come look like right now I'm not having any problem. I've been turning things down, to be honest with you. Michelle can verify. Yeah. I'm looking for reasons to not take on certain jobs right now, because it's okay. But the point is, we work with a lot of people. Okay, let us be those people to you, the ones who believe in your dreams and support you. Okay.
And the community that we've got inside Planet Business, because that is really what we're building, is a community of people who will not be the ones that discourage you, but who will be the ones that cheer you on and believe in you as you build whatever it is that you've decided to build.
What do we charge for the group? I don't even know.
The Facebook group's free.
It's free. Are we keeping it that way?
Did I charge you when you joined the Facebook group?
No, but you let me. I was an admin thing, so I accepted it. I just got back on Facebook. It's the story.
He is officially on Facebook.
Yeah, back on Facebook. I was on Facebook, and I was almost up to 5,000 friends, and then Facebook booted me because whatever. It's annoying. But the point is, we want to be there for you, okay?
Yes. And you did finally join the Facebook group. Mars is in the house. Yeah. But seriously, let us be the positive voices that you need and help you stay focused and positive so you can learn how to let other people's opinions go. Because what Mars said at the beginning is right. You have to really look at that and realize it has less value than zero. When you already know what you want to do, what you want to build, what you want to create, you have to stay determined to do that. And we know you can do it. So...
Wait, I want to say something before we do that. I know you're going into the call to action.
Yes.
I want you to listen to something that I'm about to say right now, because to me this is probably the most important thing. Michelle will say, that we're going to be supportive, and I do try to be supportive, but nobody has a voice like her. Meaning, you're just constantly inspirational. You're constantly inspirational.
Appreciate that.
And like one of the reasons why so many people succeed working with you, people who started with nothing. Okay. Like I tend to start like at the top and then, work my way down, but I tend to start at the top. And it is hard to succeed at that level, but I don't think it's anywhere near as hard when you're near the top of the mountain to get to the tippy top of the mountain as it is when you're at the bottom of the mountain and get to nearly to the top of the mountain, which is where you've taken a lot of people. And I think the reason is because you are so supportive. Okay.
Well,
you're naturally gifted at that. And
I appreciate that. And I think part of it's because that's where I started. Like, I understand what it feels like to be at the bottom of that mountain and trying to figure it out. And it's almost impossible to do on your own. You have to have somebody who believes in you. Right. You have to find somebody you can borrow that belief from until your confidence is strong enough to be able to, in this analogy, climb the mountain.
Right. See, right now, this is how she actually feels, in my opinion. If you understand what that means when somebody is actually welling up when they're saying something like that, versus just trying to pitch you on something. So, anyways, what do we have to tell them about liking, subscribing, those kinds of things? Okay,
well, hopefully you found this episode inspirational and motivational, and you want to say nice things about us. If so, please rate, review, and subscribe if you are listening to the podcast.
Right, or if you're on YouTube or Facebook.
Watching us on video in color.
Comment. Well, we're in black and white.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but
well, that didn't work.
Well, there's orange. You're trying to control the...
I'm just making sound effects.
She's trying to control the sound effects. Subliminally. Comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube and Facebook.
All right. Thank you for listening or watching today, wherever you're at. And we will see you back for the next episode.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here on